Introduction. You can get almost anything you want if you know the right words and the right moment. Let's be honest. There have been times in your life when you wanted something simple and you didn't get it. You wanted your idea to be heard. You wanted your partner to take your words seriously. You wanted a clear yes instead of another vague, "I'll think about it." And instead, people ignored you, changed the subject, or shut down. It's easy to blame them. They don't listen. They don't respect me. They don't care. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the time, the problem is not what you want. The problem is how and when you speak. This audiobook is about that how, and that when it's about using words with precision, about speaking with calm authority, about understanding the psychology behind human behavior. Because influence is not force. Influence is clarity. Influence is timing. Influence is intention. In every room, there are two types of people. One speaks, and nothing changes. The other speaks, and the whole room shifts. Same topic, same people, different words, different timing, different results. This audiobook will move you from the first category to the second. In the next hours, you will learn what to say, the words that move people, when to say it, the moment when minds are open, how to say it, the tone, pace, and presence that carry weight. This is not vague advice like be confident or speak clearly. This is practical, usable power. You will learn phrases that trigger immediate action, frames that dissolve resistance, scripts for tough conversations, strategies for work, relationships, and high-pressure moments. Before we continue, here's one boundary. Influence is not manipulation. Manipulation means I win, you lose. Influence means we both win. The tools you learn here can be used ethically or destructively. The tool is neutral. The person is not. So here's the rule. If you wouldn't want someone using this on you in the same way, don't use it on them. Ethical influence creates trust. Manipulation creates damage. How should you use this audiobook? Don't just listen for inspiration. Listen to change your voice. When a phrase hits you, don't just think, "That's good." Say it out loud. Let your mouth learn new patterns. Choose one area of your life as your practice field, your work, your relationship, your family, your business. Aim for one upgraded sentence per day. One better way to ask. One better way to say no. One better way to lead. Small improvements in language, repeated daily, create massive change. Here's the journey ahead. Part 1. The foundations of influence, words, timing, emotional triggers. Part 2. Building a voice. People follow, tone, pace, authority, presence. Part 3. Phrases that move people, practical language, real scripts. Part 4. Advanced influence, silent power, direction, leadership language. Part 5. Real-world application, work, relationships, high-pressure moments. Part 6. The master level, the right words, at the right moment. Everything starts with understanding the basics. Without this foundation, nothing else works. So now, let's begin. Part 1. The foundations of influence. Chapter 1. The hidden power of words. Think about the last time you sent a message and immediately regretted how you phrased it. Maybe it was a text to someone you care about that came off cold or passive-aggressive. Maybe it was an email to your boss that sounded weaker or harsher than you intended. You didn't change the facts. You didn't change what happened. You only changed the words. But the reaction you got? That changed completely. That is the hidden power of language. We like to believe that people react to logic, facts, and what's right. In reality, people mostly react to how your words make them feel, what your words say about them, and what your words say about you. To understand how to speak so people do what you want, you need to know that every sentence you say works on 3 levels at once. Content, the literal meaning, framing, the story your words create around that meaning. Implication, what your words signal about status, respect, and relationship. Let's break this down. 1. Content, what you say. This is the surface level. Can you stay a bit longer and help with this report? I think we should move the deadline. Please don't talk to me like that. At the content level, you're just expressing a request or a thought. Most people live here. They believe communication equals content. I told him what I want. Why doesn't he just do it? Because content is only the beginning. 2. Framing, the story around your words. Framing answers. Questions like, is this urgent or optional? Is this normal or special? Is this a burden or an opportunity? Is this about my benefit or yours? Here's an example. Content. Can you help me with this project? 2 different framings. Version A. I know you're busy, but could you maybe help me with this project? It's kind of a mess and I don't really know what I'm doing. Version B. I'd like your help on this project. Your experience with clients is exactly what we need to make it work. Same content. Help me with this project. Total different frame. In version A, you frame your request as a burden and yourself as weak and unsure. In version B, you frame it as a smart use of their strengths and yourself as someone who knows how to leverage talent. People react to the frame far more than to the raw content. 3. Implication. What your words say about status and respect. Every sentence you say sends a signal about status. Who is leading? Who is following? How much do we respect each other? How much do we respect ourselves? Listen to these 2 phrases. Sorry, can I ask a stupid question? Let me ask a clear question to move this forward. The content is similar. You're about to ask something, but the implication is completely different. The first one lowers your status. You imply, I'm probably wasting your time, expect something dumb. The second one raises your status and gives direction. You imply, I'm here to move us forward, pay attention. Or look at this pair. I need you to send this today, okay? Here's what we're going to do. You'll send this today, and I'll handle the follow-up. The second implies leadership and certainty. You're not begging, you're directing, with clarity. When you speak, people are constantly reading the implications behind your words, usually without realizing it. They ask themselves, do I feel respected right now? Do I trust this person? Are they above me, below me, or on my level? Do I want to be on their side, or against them, or neutral? How they answer those questions decides whether they will do what you want. A simple before, after shift. Let's say you want a colleague to send you a report by Friday. Weak version. Hey, could you maybe send that report by Friday? If not, that's okay, I just need it soon. Content. Report by Friday. Frame. Optional, low importance. Implication. You're afraid to ask directly. Strong version. I'll need that report from you by Friday so we can close this on time. Is there anything you need from me to make that happen? Content. Same. Frame. Necessary. Part of a bigger goal. Implication. You're organized, confident, and collaborative small changes. Big difference in how people feel and how they respond. Exercise. Pause here if you want. Think of a recent situation where someone ignored your request or gave you a weak maybe or did what you asked, but with visible resistance. Ask yourself, what was the content of what I said? How did I frame it? What did my words imply about my status and our relationship? Now rewrite that same request in a stronger way. Same content, better frame, more confident implication. Say it out loud. Your mouth needs to learn new patterns. The hidden power of words is this: you don't have to change who you are. You don't have to become more aggressive, more fake, or more dominant. You only need to adjust the way you choose your content, design your frame, and manage the implications of your language. In the next chapters, we add 2 more crucial ingredients: timing, saying the right words when the mind is open. Emotional triggers, connecting your words to what people already deeply want. When you combine these 3, precise words, right moment, and emotional leverage, you become someone people listen to and follow. Let's move to timing. Chapter 2. The Science of Timing. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first one, you walk into your boss's office when they're stressed, behind schedule, and clearly irritated. You say, "Hey, I was thinking maybe I could get a raise sometime soon." You already know how that goes. Wrong moment, wrong emotional state. They shut you down, delay, or give a non-answer. In the second scenario, you catch the same person right after a successful meeting. They're relaxed, satisfied, proud of the results. You say, "Today went really well. I'm glad we hit that target. I'd like to talk to you about my role and my compensation so I can keep contributing at this level. When's a good time for you this week?" Same ask, different timing, different field of play. Timing is not a detail. Timing is strategy. Most people focus only on what they're going to say. They write long messages, they rehearse arguments, they try to find the perfect phrasing. But if you get the timing wrong, even the perfect sentence fails. Think of timing as the door to someone's mind. When the door is open, a simple sentence goes deep. When the door is closed, the most brilliant argument hits a wall. There are 3 main elements of timing: emotional state, context and focus, sequence. Let's go through each. 1. Emotional state. Never argue with a nervous system. When someone is angry, anxious, exhausted, ashamed, overwhelmed, their brain is not in cooperate and reflect mode. It's in protect and survive mode. When the nervous system is activated, logic doesn't land. Requests feel like threats. Even neutral words can feel like an attack. If you push your agenda in that moment, you're not speaking to a thinking brain. You're speaking to a defensive system. So rule number 1, don't ask for important things when the other person is emotionally flooded. What do you do instead? You wait, or you help them calm down. Calming down can mean giving them space, listening without pushing, acknowledging their emotion. For example, you sound really frustrated right now. Let's handle this first, and then talk about the other thing later. You're not ignoring your need. You're protecting it by choosing a moment when it can actually be heard. 2. Context and focus. Align with their current agenda. People are more likely to do what you want when you connect your request to what they're already focused on. If someone is in work mode, don't bring emotional conversations. If someone is in family mode, don't bring performance reviews. Good timing means entering through the door that is already open. Ask yourself, what is this person thinking about right now? What goal, problem, or desire are they currently aligned with? Then connect your request to that example at work. If your manager cares about meeting targets, don't say, "I want to work less overtime." Say, "I want to talk about how I can keep performing at a high level without burning out. That way, I can help us hit our targets consistently." Same desire, different frame, better timing. Example, at home. If your partner is tired, don't say, "We need to talk about our whole relationship." Say, "I can see you're tired. Let's decompress tonight. Tomorrow, when you've rested, I want to talk about something important to me." You're not betraying your needs, you're aligning them. 3. Sequence. Seed first, ask later. One of the most powerful timing tools is seeding. Seeding means you introduce an idea gently now and ask for action later, after their mind has had time to warm up to it. Most people do the opposite. They drop a big request with zero preparation. Can you invest in my idea? Can you change your habits? Can we move to another city? The other person feels ambushed. Seeding looks like this. Day 1. I've been thinking about how we could improve X. I'll put some thoughts together. Day 3. I sketched a few ideas. Can I walk you through them tomorrow? Day 4. Here's the plan. I'd like your green light to move forward. By then, the idea is familiar. Familiar feels safe. That's sequence. Exercise. Pause if you want. Think of one important conversation you want to have soon. Ask yourself, what emotional state should they be in? In what context will they be most open? How can I seed this topic first? Write. One sentence to seed the idea and the later moment to make the actual ask. When you study timing, you'll notice many of your past failures weren't because you were not good enough. They were because of bad timing. People who seem naturally persuasive simply have better timing instincts. They wait. They sense when tension drops. They speak when people are ready. You can train this. Now that you understand words and timing, you're ready for the third foundation, emotional triggers. Let's go there. Chapter 3. Emotional triggers and psychological buttons. To make people do what you want, you must connect your words to what they already want. That is the key. You cannot install motivation from the outside. You can only link your request to a motivation that already exists in them. These motivations are emotional triggers, or psychological buttons. When you press the right button, with the right words, at the right moment, people move. Not because you force them, but because your request aligns with their own desires, fears, values, identity. Here are 6 major triggers: desire, fear, belonging, status and respect, simplicity and safety, urgency. Let's explore them. 1. Desire. This gives you what you want. Desire is about pleasure, gain, improvement. People ask, "What's in this for me?" Examples. Instead of, "Can you help me with this campaign?" Use desire. "This campaign could really highlight your skills. I want you on it." So people see what you can do. Instead of, "Can you go to the gym with me?" Use desire. "You've been wanting more energy and confidence. Let's build that together. Come twice a week." 2. Fear. This helps you avoid what you don't want. Fear here is not panic. It's about avoiding regret or pain. Examples. Instead of, "We should update this system." Use fear. "If we ignore this, we'll keep losing time and making the same mistakes." Instead of, "You should go to the doctor." Use fear. "I don't want this to get worse. Let's check it early." Use fear ethically. 3. Belonging. People like you do this. People follow norms at work. Everyone on the leadership team is behind this. I want you with us. With friends. We're all starting this habit Sunday. Join us. With a partner. Let's be the kind of couple that talks things out. 4. Status and respect. This makes you important. If people feel small, they resist. Instead of, "You're doing it wrong," use status. "You've done good work. Here's one adjustment to make it even stronger." Instead of, "I need you Saturday," use status. "I trust you with this. I'd like you to cover Saturday, and I'll make sure it's recognized." 5. Simplicity and safety. This is easy and low risk. People avoid complexity. Instead of, "Switch everything to this new system," use simplicity. "Let's test this for 1 week with one part of your work." Instead of, "Just trust me," use safety. "Here's exactly what we'll do. If it doesn't work, we go back." 6. Urgency. Now matters. Without urgency, people delay. Examples. "I'd like your decision by Thursday. If we start this now, we'll feel results next month. If we don't talk now, we'll repeat this pattern." Putting it together. Use 1 or 2 triggers at a time. For a team, desire plus simplicity. This project could position us as leaders. We'll start with a small pilot, 3 simple steps. For a partner, fear plus belonging. "I don't want this to become a problem later. Let's be the kind of couple that takes care of things together." Exercise. Pause here. Think of someone you want to influence. Ask, what do they want more of? Desire. What do they want less of? Fear. What groups matter? Belonging. What makes them feel important? Status. What would make this simple? Safety. What would make this matter now? Urgency. Craft 1 or 2 sentences linking your request to their triggers. Say them out loud. Feel the difference. You now have the 3 foundations: words with hidden power, timing that opens the mind, emotional triggers that move the heart. In the next part of this audiobook, we'll build something on top of that. A voice. People naturally follow. A voice that sounds calm, certain, and trustworthy, even before your words fully land. But for now, remember this. You can get almost anything you want. If you know the right words, the right moment, and the right emotional button to press, and you're already closer to that than you were an hour ago. Part 2. Building a voice people follow. Your voice is more than sound. Your voice is your presence, your identity, your emotional signature, your internal vibration made external. Most people think influence starts with words, but influence actually starts before words, in the way your voice feels to others. 2 people can say the same sentence. "Let's handle this now." But one person sounds like noise and the other sounds like leadership. One person triggers resistance, the other triggers alignment. This part of the audiobook will teach you how to build the second kind of voice, a voice that people follow naturally, a voice people trust without thinking, a voice that carries weight, even in silence. Let's begin. Chapter 4. The authority tone. Authority doesn't come from shouting. Authority doesn't come from sounding tough. Authority doesn't come from pretending to be someone else. Authority comes from one thing: certainty. Not arrogance, not pressure, just pure, grounded certainty. People follow the voice that sounds like it already knows the way one. Speak from your center. When someone lacks certainty, you hear it instantly. Their sentences rise at the end. Their breathing is shallow. Their tone is tight. Their words lean forward as if begging for validation. When someone speaks from centered authority, you hear that too. Their tone is even. Their breath is slow. Their pitch is stable. Their sentences land flat and firm. Their voice sits back in the body, not forward in the throat. Try this right now. Say out loud, "This is what we'll do." Now say it again, but before speaking. Inhale deeply through your nose, relax your shoulders, drop your exhale into your belly, and let the sound rise from lower in your body. Feel the difference. The second voice has authority. The first one had tension. A grounded body equals a grounded voice. A grounded voice equals a grounded presence. A grounded presence equals influence. 2. End your sentences downward. Rising intonation signals: insecurity, questioning, seeking approval. Falling intonation signals: confidence, direction, finality. Listen to the difference. Weak tone: I think we maybe should move the deadline. Authority tone: we're moving the deadline to Thursday. Same content. Entirely different psychological impact. Downward tone closes the sentence. It feels final, intentional, decisive. Rule: if you want people to follow, end sentences like you're placing a stone on the ground, heavy, final, clear. 3. Slow down your pace. Fast speech signals: anxiety, fear, trying to escape silence. I hope you don't interrupt me. Slow speech signals: control, comfort, boundaries, leadership. Leaders don't rush. They let silence work for them. Practice this. Say your next sentence 10% slower than you think you should. You'll feel like you're slowing down too much, but to others, it finally sounds like clarity. Slow equals strong. 4. Use intentional silence. Silence is one of the most powerful influence tools you have. Weak communicators fill silence. Strong communicators create silence. When you pause, people lean in. Their nervous system relaxes. Your words sink deeper. Your presence expands. Try this. I hear you. Pause. And here's what we're going to do. Pause. The pauses carry the weight. The words ride on top of it. 5. Stop explaining. Start declaring. Explanation is weak. Declaration is strong. Examples: weak. The reason I think we should move the deadline is because the client said. Strong. We're moving the deadline to Tuesday. Here's what that gives us. Weak. I just wanted to ask if maybe it's possible that you. Strong. I need you to send this by end of day. Explaining is defensive. Declaring is directional. People follow direction, not justification. Chapter 5. Vocal Psychology. Your voice is not just sound. It's a psychological signal. It tells people whether you're safe, whether you're competent, whether you're confident, whether you're anxious, whether you're worth following. Voice psychology has 4 pillars: pace, pause, intensity, presence. Master these 4 and your voice becomes magnetic. 1. Pace. The rhythm of influence. Pace is emotional temperature. Fast, anxious, slow, controlled, rushed, insecure, measured. Confident. To influence someone's emotions, adjust your pace. First, if someone is agitated, you slow down. If someone is passive, you pick up slightly. If someone is defensive, you soften and steady. Your pace sets the emotional tone of the entire interaction. 2. Pause. The weight of influence. Pauses create clarity, drama, gravitas, direction, impact. The mind processes meaning during the pause, not during the words. Try this. We're done talking about problems. Pause. Let's talk about what we're going to do. The pause is the knife that cuts the fog. 3. Intensity, your emotional volume. Intensity is not loudness. Intensity is energy. It answers, how much do you care? Too low, forgettable, too high, aggressive. Balanced intensity is clear, warm, energized, calm, decisive. Intensity equals emotional sincerity. People trust intensity when it's real. 4. Presence. What your voice says about your identity. Presence means your voice matches your inner state. If you feel rushed, irritated, insecure, apologetic, Your voice will reveal it instantly. Presence requires alignment of breath, posture, attention, intention. A present person speaks from the body, not from the mind. Presence is not volume. Presence is gravity. When you have presence, people orbit around your voice. Chapter 6. The Rule of Clear Intention. If you take only one lesson from Part 2, take this one. People obey clear intention. Most people speak with hidden intentions. They want to be liked. They want to avoid conflict. They want approval. They want to sound nice. They want to dodge responsibility. They want to avoid being judged. So their voice becomes muddy, uncertain, indirect, unstable. People don't follow unstable signals. People follow clarity. 1. Decide what you want before you speak. Ask yourself, what is my actual intention? Not, what makes them like me? What avoids tension, but what outcome do I want? Clarity inside equals clarity outside. 2. Speak from intention, not emotion. When you speak from emotion, your tone shakes, your words spill, your mind races. When you speak from intention, your tone stabilizes, your pace slows, your presence strengthens. Intention is your compass. 3. Say the lead sentence first. Every conversation has one core sentence, the thing you really need to say. Most people bury it under disclaimers, explanations, softening, self-protection. A leader puts it first. Examples. We need to fix the communication between us. I want more clarity in this relationship. I need your decision. The lead sentence sets the direction. 4. Remove apologetic language. Apology language weakens your presence. Remove words like just, maybe, kind of, I'm not sure, but if it's not too much trouble, sorry, but replace with, here's what I need. Let's do this. This matters. I need your full attention. Let's be clear. People follow visible intention. 5. Your voice must enter the room first. Before words, before logic, before content. Your presence sets the tone. When you enter, slow your breath, plant your feet, lift your chest, focus outward, speak from grounded intention. A grounded presence shifts the entire room. People follow energy that makes them feel safe and directed. Closing part. Your voice is not an accident. It is not fixed. It is not who you were born as. Your voice is a tool, a trainable instrument, a direct extension of your internal clarity. When you speak from your center, end sentences with certainty, slow your pace, use intentional silence, regulate intensity, hold presence, and root yourself in clear intention. Your voice becomes magnetic. People listen differently, they trust quicker, they follow naturally. This is how leaders speak, not with force, not with ego, but with grounded clarity and intentional presence. Now that you have the foundations of influence and the structure of a powerful voice, it's time for the next part. Part 3. Phrases that move people. Where you'll learn the exact sentences, scripts, and structures that get people to say yes. Part 3. Phrases that move people. You've built the foundations. You understand the power of words, timing, and emotional triggers. You've started shaping a voice that people naturally follow. Now it's time for something very practical. The actual phrases, the word patterns, the verbal tools you can pull out in real conversations. In this part, you're going to learn specific phrases that trigger action, how to frame your message so people stop resisting, and a simple formula that makes yes the easiest answer. This is where your communication stops being random and starts being strategic. Chapter 7. The 10 activation phrases. Activation phrases are short, simple sentences that push people from thinking to doing. You'll recognize some of them. You might even use a few already. But now you'll understand why they work and how to use them. On purpose, not by accident, we'll go through 10 powerful activation phrases. For each, I'll give you what it does, how it works psychologically, and examples you can adapt to your life. You don't need to memorize all of them at once. Start with 2 or 3 that feel natural to you and build from there. Activation. Phrase number 1, here's what we're going to do. This phrase creates direction. Psychology, people are often stuck in confusion, frustration, or overthinking. When you say, here's what we're going to do, you position yourself as the person who brings order. It signals, I have a plan. You're not alone. We're moving from problem to action. Examples. At work. Okay, this has been messy. Here's what we're going to do. First, we clean up the file. Then we send a simple update to the client. Then we schedule a review. In a relationship, this argument is going in circles. Here's what we're going to do. We take 30 minutes apart, then we talk again. One person speaks, the other listens. With yourself, self-talk. I've been procrastinating all week. Here's what I'm going to do. 2 focused hours, phone off, then I'm free. Practice using this phrase whenever people feel lost or stuck. It cuts through fog. Activation. Phrase number 2. Let's make this simple. This phrase reduces mental friction. Psychology. People resist action when things feel complicated. When you say, let's make this simple, you reassure their brain, this won't be overwhelming. Examples. In a team, there are a lot of moving parts, but let's make this simple. Today we only focus on step 1, cleaning the data. With a client, this can sound confusing at first. Let's make this simple. There are only 3 options that really matter for you. With family, everyone's talking at once. Let's make this simple. We decide who does what today, then we're done. You're not just simplifying the task, you're lowering emotional resistance activation. Phrase number 3. Here's what I need from you. This phrase clarifies expectation. Psychology. People can't act confidently if they don't know what is expected of them. When you say, here's what I need from you, you remove ambiguity. You stop hinting. You start leading. Examples. To a coworker, here's what I need from you. Send me the draft by Thursday noon so I can review it before the meeting. To your partner, when we talk, here's what I need from you. Listen without interrupting for 5 minutes. Then I'll listen to you. To a team, here's what I need from you today. Full focus for 2 hours, no phones, so we can finish this. This phrase is clear, direct, and respectful. You're not begging. You're not attacking. You're stating needs like an adult. Activation. Phrase number 4. Let's agree on the next step. This phrase locks in commitment. Psychology. Conversations often die in vagueness. Yeah, sounds good. Let's see. Maybe later. Let's agree on the next step. Forces clarity. Examples. At the end of a meeting, we've covered a lot. Let's agree on the next step. Who's doing what and by when. With a client. If this sounds good to you, let's agree on the next step. A 15-minute call tomorrow to finalize. With a friend. We keep saying we should meet. Let's agree on the next step. Pick a day right now. No more floating promises. You anchor the conversation in concrete action. Activation. Phrase number 5. What would make this a yes for you? This phrase uncovers hidden resistance psychology. When someone hesitates, they rarely tell you the real reason. Instead of pushing harder, you invite them to show you the path to yes examples. In negotiation, I hear your hesitation. What would make this a yes for you? With your boss. If you're not ready to approve this now, what would make this a yes? More data, a smaller test version. With a partner. You seem unsure. What would make this a yes for you? What would you need to feel comfortable? This turns a wall into a door. Activation. Phrase number 6. Here's why this matters. This phrase adds meaning. Psychology. Action is driven by meaning. If there's no why, people drag their feet. Here's why this matters connects the task to a bigger purpose. Examples. To your team. I know this feels like boring detail work. Here's why this matters. If we do this right, we save ourselves hours every week. To your child. Cleaning your room isn't just about rules. Here's why this matters. You're training yourself to take care of your space and your mind. To yourself. Going to the gym is hard. Here's why it matters. I want to be strong, present, and alive in 10 years, not just now. Meaning is fuel. You're filling the tank. Activation. Phrase number 7. Let's do this together. This phrase builds belonging and support. Psychology. People fear doing hard things alone. When you say, let's do this together, you remove loneliness from the equation. Examples. With a co-worker. This task is heavy. Let's do this together. You handle the numbers. I handle the client side. With your partner. We both want to be healthier. Let's do this together. 1 walk a day, no phones. With a friend. Starting is hard. Let's do this together. We both sign up and keep each other accountable. You turn your request into a shared mission. Activation. Phrase number 8. Here's what will happen if we don't act. This phrase makes consequences visible. Psychology. People underestimate future pain. They think, it's fine, it can wait. You're not threatening, you're revealing reality. Examples. At work. If we don't act on this now, we'll lose this client to someone faster. Here's what will happen if we don't act. More stress later, less revenue now. In health. If we keep ignoring this, here's what will happen. More fatigue, more pain, and fewer options later. In a relationship. If we don't talk about this, here's what will happen. We'll grow distant, and one day it'll be too late to fix it. You connect inaction to a clear cost. Activation. Phrase number 9. Let's be the kind of people who. This phrase appeals to identity psychology. People don't just act from logic. They act from who they believe they are. When you say, let's be the kind of people who, you invite them into a better identity. Examples with a partner. Let's be the kind of couple who talks honestly, not the kind that sweeps everything under the rug. With a team. Let's be the kind of team that delivers early, not at the last minute. With yourself. Let's be the kind of person who finishes what they start. Identity pulls behavior upward. Activation. Phrase number 10. I'm committed. Are you in? This phrase draws a clear line. Psychology. People follow those who are committed. Half-hearted energy doesn't inspire action. When you say, I'm committed, are you in? You display your stake and invite them to step up. Examples. In a project. I'm committed to making this work. Are you in? In a relationship decision. I'm committed to improving this, not running from it. Are you in? In a shared goal. I'm committed to changing this habit. Are you in, honestly? Some will say, no. That's good. Clarity is better than illusion. Mini exercise. Pick one area of your life, work, relationships, or self-discipline. Choose 2. Activation phrases from this chapter that feel natural to you. For the next week, use them deliberately. Notice how people respond. Listen to the difference in your own voice. You're rewiring your default language patterns. That's real power. Chapter 8. The Power of Framing. In Part 1, you learned that framing is the story wrapped around your words. Now we're going deeper. A good frame makes people open. A bad frame makes people resist before you even finish your sentence. There are many ways to frame a message, but here we'll focus on 4 powerful frame shifts. From demand to shared goal, from problem to opportunity, from threat to choice, from accusation to observation. 1. From demand to shared goal. People resist feeling controlled, but they like feeling aligned. Bad frame, demand. You need to fix this report. Better frame, shared goal. We both want this report to look solid. Let's fix this part so it matches the standard. Bad frame, demand. You have to spend more time with the kids. Better frame. We both want the kids to feel close to you. How can we adjust your schedule so that happens? You move from I win, you obey to we both win, we both contribute. 2. From problem to opportunity. If everything feels like a problem, people shut down. Reframing something as an opportunity changes the emotional energy around it. Problem frame. This client is so demanding, this is a nightmare. Opportunity frame. This client is demanding, but if we handle this well, they'll trust us with bigger projects. Problem frame. Our communication sucks. Opportunity frame. Our communication isn't where we want it yet, and that means we have a huge upside if we work on it. You're not lying. You're choosing a more useful story. 3. From threat to choice. Threats trigger defense. Choice triggers ownership. Threat frame. If you don't do this, there will be consequences. Choice frame. You're free to choose. If you do this, here's what you gain. If you don't, here's what you lose. Threat frame. You better show up on time. Choice frame. You can show up on time and earn more responsibility, or keep being late and I'll need to rethink your role. Ownership is more powerful than fear. People protect what they choose. 4. From accusation to observation. Accusations trigger counterattack. Observations invite reflection. Accusation frame. You never listen to me. Observation frame. When I talk about things that matter to me, you often look at your phone or change the subject. It makes me feel invisible. Accusation frame. You're lazy. Observation frame. In the last 3 weeks, the deadlines were missed 3 times. I want to understand what's going on. Observations describe reality without labeling identity. That gives people space to adjust without defending their ego. Framing template. Whenever you need to say something difficult, pause and run it through this simple checklist. Can I turn this from me vs you into US vs the problem? Can I turn this from punishment into choice and consequence? Can I turn this from attack into neutral description? Can I turn this from burden into benefit or opportunity? You're not sugarcoating. You're removing unnecessary friction so your message can actually land. Chapter 9. The Compliance Formula. Now we put everything together into a simple, repeatable structure. A lot of people ask, okay, but what do I say when I need someone to actually do something? Here's a formula you can use in most situations where you want cooperation or agreement. Think of it as a 4-step compliance formula. Connect, frame, ask, lock in. We'll go through each step in detail with examples. Step 1. Connect. Before you ask for anything, you connect with the person as a human being. Connection lowers defenses. It says, I see you, I'm not here to attack you. Connection can be a simple acknowledgement, a reflection of their reality, a shared goal, or a brief appreciation. Examples. I know you've got a lot on your plate right now. I appreciate the effort you've already put into this. We both want this to work. I know this isn't an easy conversation. Connection is not manipulation. It's emotional hygiene. Step 2. Frame. Next, you set the context around your request. This is where you use the framing principles from the previous chapter. Shared goal, opportunity, choice, observation instead of accusation. Examples. We both want this project to be successful. I don't want us to keep repeating the same argument. This is a chance to fix something now before it gets worse. You're important to this team, and that's why this matters. You're answering the silent question. Why are we talking about this? Step 3. Ask. Now you make a clear, direct, specific request. This is where you use phrases like, here's what I need from you. Here's what we're going to do. Let's agree on the next step. Examples. I need you to send me the updated version by Thursday noon. I want you to be present at the meeting tomorrow and share your opinion. I'd like us to test this new process for 1 week. Key. 1 main request, clear action, clear timeline if relevant, no apologetic language, no 20 different asks. 1 clean shot. Step 4. Lock in. Finally, you lock in the commitment. You don't just say, okay, cool. You make sure both of you know what's going to happen. Next. This can be a verbal confirmation, a recap, a question. Examples. Does that work for you? So we're agreed. You'll send it by Thursday noon. On a scale from 1 to 10, how likely are you to follow through on this? What might get in the way of this? And how do we handle that now? Locking in. Reduces future misunderstandings, increases follow through, shows you're serious. Compliance formula in action. Scenario. You want a coworker to stop delaying their part of the project. Old way. Can you please just send your part on time for once? New way. 4-step formula. Connect. I know you've been juggling a lot of tasks lately. Frame. We both want this project to go smoothly and not turn into last-minute chaos. Ask. Here's what I need from you. Send me your part by Wednesday, 3 p.m., so I have time to integrate it. Lock in. Does Wednesday 3 p.m. work for you? If not, tell me a realistic time you can commit to, and I'll hold you to that. Another scenario. Scenario. You want your partner to be more emotionally present. Old way. You never listen to me. You're always on your phone. New way. 4-step formula. Connect. I know you're tired and you've had a lot on your mind. Frame. I don't want us to slowly drift apart. I want us to feel close and actually present with each other. Ask. Here's what I need from you. When we talk in the evening for these 20 minutes, put your phone away and just be with me. Lock in. Can you do that? Are you willing to try that with me this week? Same pain, different delivery, better chance of change. Exercise. Think of one real situation where you want someone to say, yes, write down. 1 sentence for connect, 1 sentence for frame, 1 sentence for ask, 1 sentence for lock in. Then say it out loud. Adjust the words so they feel natural in your mouth. You're designing your influence on purpose. Part 4. Advanced influence skills. By now, you understand the foundations. You know how words, timing, emotional triggers, and vocal presence shape human behavior. You also know how to use activation phrases, how to reframe resistance, and how to lead conversations with clarity. Now it's time for the next level. This is where influence becomes almost invisible, where you guide conversations without force, where people walk in one emotional state and walk out aligned with yours. without knowing exactly how it happened. This part is about subtle power, strategic power, ethical power, power that doesn't shout, but shifts the entire direction of a moment. Chapter 10. Conversational control. Most people think conversations are free-flowing. They think anyone can take them anywhere. They think the loudest voice wins. That's not true. In reality, the person who controls the structure controls the conversation. Not the loudest person, not the smartest person. The person who sets the structure. Let's break conversational control into 4 advanced tools. Setting the frame early, redirecting without resistance, breaking emotional loops, closing the conversational gate. Master these and you'll never feel lost or powerless in dialogue again. 1. Set the frame early. The first 20 seconds of a conversation decide who leads it. If you start passive, apologetic, uncertain, you've already lost. To set the frame early, you define the purpose, the direction, the boundaries. Examples. Before we dive in, here's what I want to accomplish. Let me set the direction for this call. I want to make sure we stay focused on the main issue. Here's the outcome I'm aiming for. The moment you define the purpose, you become the psychological leader of the interaction. Most people never do this. They drift, they react, they follow emotional waves. But you set the current. 2. Redirect without resistance. Sometimes conversations go sideways. People get emotional, change the subject, bring irrelevant details, or start spiraling. If you push them aggressively, they resist. If you ignore them, they feel dismissed. The key is soft redirection. Acknowledge plus redirect. Examples. I hear you let me bring us back to the main point. I get why you feel that way. Here's what I want us to focus on right now. That's important, and we can return to it for now. Let's stay with X. I'm with you, and here's where this conversation needs to go. You honor their emotion but keep the steering wheel. No collision, no power struggle, just smooth direction. 3. Break emotional loops. Some people get stuck, repeating complaints, recycling the same point, escalating frustration, looping in circles. The biggest mistake? Arguing with the loop. Loops don't break from logic. Loops break from pattern interruption. Here are 3 ways to do it. Pattern. Break number 1. The pause. Shift. Stop talking. Go silent. Let the emotional cycle collapse. Then say, let me pause us for a moment. Or, let's reset for a second. Silence breaks loops. Pattern break number 2. The meta shift. Talk about the conversation itself, not the content, the pattern. Examples. We're repeating the same argument. This conversation is going in circles. We're stuck in the same loop. Let's choose a different approach. Meta-language opens a door that content cannot open. Pattern break. Number 3. The future shift. Move the focus forward. Let's talk about solutions. What outcome do you want? Where do you want this to go next? What can we both do right now to improve this? Loops are backward-facing. You break them with forward-facing questions. 4. Close the conversational gate. Not every conversation deserves to continue. Sometimes the person isn't ready, the energy is wrong, the timing is off, or the dynamic is slipping into disrespect. Strong communicators close the gate without aggression. Examples. I'm not having this conversation in this tone. Let's talk when we're both calm. This isn't productive right now. Let's revisit later. I'm stepping away from this for now. Gate closing says, my presence is a privilege, not a given. People respect someone who protects their boundaries without drama. Chapter 11. The language of leadership. Leadership isn't a role. Leadership is a linguistic pattern. There are specific ways leaders speak that instantly create trust, loyalty, respect, alignment. This chapter gives you 3 advanced leadership tools: ownership language, vision language, stability language. Let's go deep. 1. Ownership language. Leaders don't avoid responsibility, they claim it. Ownership language sounds like, "I'll take point on this. I take responsibility for the result. I'll fix this. Here's what I'm committing to. I could have handled that better. Here's my plan going forward." This builds massive trust. When people see you take responsibility, they feel safe following you. Ownership sharpens your presence. You sound grounded. You sound stable. You sound real. 2. Vision language. Leaders help people see a future better than the present. Vision language is not hype, it's clarity. Examples. Here's where we're headed. This is the direction I believe in. If we commit to this, here's what becomes possible. This is how things could look 3 months from now. Vision language answers the core human question. Where are we going, and why should I come with you? If you can answer that clearly, you have influence anywhere. 3. Stability language. In uncertainty, people follow the calmest voice. Stability language is slow, warm, grounded. Examples. I've got this. We're okay. Let's take this one step at a time. I'm not going anywhere. We'll handle this together. One thing at a time. Here's the first step. Stability resets nervous systems. It melts panic. It restores logic. If you want people to trust your leadership, be the emotional anchor, not the emotional amplifier. Chapter 12. The silent influence techniques. Sometimes the most powerful influence is completely silent. This chapter teaches 3 silent tools: mirroring, emotional anchoring, presence-based influence. These techniques don't require word, but they shape human behavior more deeply than most sentences. 1. Mirroring. Mirroring is the subtle art of reflecting someone's tone, pace, posture, emotional energy. Not copying, reflecting. When done right, mirroring creates instant rapport. The person feels, "You're like me, I can relax, you get me." Examples. If someone speaks softly, you soften. If someone is animated, you add energy. If someone slows down, you slow down. If someone leans in, you lean in slightly. Mirroring tells their nervous system, we're on the same frequency. Once rapport is built, you can gradually shift the energy to guide them into a calmer, clearer state. This is called leading the mirror. 2. Emotional anchoring. Every interaction has an emotional tone. You can choose to be the anchor or the echo. The echo reacts. The anchor sets the baseline. Anchoring means you remain stable while others shift around you. You stay calm when they get agitated. You stay clear when they get confused. You stay grounded when they get emotional. The more stable you are, the more people subconsciously follow your emotional lead. You become a reference point, a center of gravity, a stabilizing force. Influence through emotional regulation is one of the most advanced skills in communication. 3. Presence-based influence. Presence is not body language. Presence is energy, a projection of confidence, focus, relaxation, direction. People feel your presence before they hear your words. Presence comes from slow breathing, grounded posture, steady eye contact, relaxed facial muscles, attentional control, clear intention. Presence doesn't say, "Follow me." It says, "You already want to follow me." People follow presence without knowing why. Closing part 4. You now understand influence at a level most people never reach. You can. Steer conversations with structure, break emotional loops, set frames that guide behavior, use leadership language that inspires, regulate emotions to become the anchor in any room, and influence silently through presence itself. This is advanced communication. This is invisible power. This is the difference between a person who communicates and a person who leads. But we're not finished yet. In the next part of this audiobook, you'll learn how to apply all of this in real-world situations. Part 5. Practical applications, where we translate influence into daily life, at work, in relationships, in negotiations, and in high-pressure moments. Part 5. Practical applications. So far, you've been building power. You've learned how words shape behavior, how timing opens or closes minds, how emotional triggers move people, how to build a voice people follow, and how to control conversations and energy like a quiet leader. This is already more than most people ever learn. But now comes the most important question. What do you do with all this? Because influence is not theory. Influence is movement. In this part of the audiobook, we bring everything down to earth. You'll see how to use these tools. At work, in your close relationships, and in high-pressure situations where most people lose control. You're going to hear real-life dialogues, word-for-word examples, and ready-made scripts you can adapt to your own life. Let's start where influence is tested every day. Your work. Chapter 13. Influence at work. Your career is not just about how hard you work, it's about how effectively you move people, colleagues, managers, clients, partners. You can be brilliant and still stuck if you can't get buy-in, support, or resources. In this chapter, we'll focus on 3 high-leverage skills: leading meetings with authority, getting buy-in for your ideas, negotiating for better pay and opportunities. 1. Leading meetings with authority. Most meetings are a waste of energy. Why? Because nobody clearly leads. People talk in circles, derail the agenda, repeat themselves, and leave without decisions. You're going to do it differently. Here's a simple meeting leadership script you can adapt. A. Opening the meeting, set the frame. You start with, "Thanks for being here. Let me set the goal for this meeting. By the end of this, I want us to be clear on decision, plan, next steps. We have X minutes, so I'll keep us focused." You've just claimed leadership, set a goal, set a time boundary, and promised focus. You're already different from 90% of people. B. Guiding the discussion, conversational control. Use phrases like, "Let's keep this simple. We have 3 options. Let me summarize where we are so far. I hear you. Let's bring this back to our main question. Good point. Here's how it fits into the bigger picture." You're constantly summarizing, refocusing, framing. You're not just in the conversation. You're above it, guiding it. C. Closing with clarity. Lock in. You end with, "Before we wrap up, let's agree on the next steps." Name, "You'll do X by time." Name, "You'll handle Y, I'll take care of Z. Does everyone agree?" Then, "Great, we're done." That last line matters. Leaders know when something is finished. 2. Getting buy-in for your ideas. Having a good idea is not enough. You must know how to introduce it, frame it, and guide people to a yes. Here's a simple 4-step structure to pitch an idea at work. We'll call it the buy-in blueprint. Step 1. Connect to their goals. You start not with you, but with them. I know you're focused on their goal: hitting revenue, reducing costs, improving retention, growing the brand. For example, I know you're focused on reducing client churn this quarter. You're telling them, I see your world. I'm not here to waste your time. Step 2. Name the problem. Then you show the gap. The challenge I see is specific bottleneck. Example. The challenge I see is that our onboarding is too complex. New clients feel overwhelmed and drop off in the first month. You're signaling awareness and clarity. Step 3. Present the idea as a bridge. Now you position your idea as the solution. I have an idea that could solve problem and support your goal. Example. I have an idea that could simplify onboarding and drastically reduce early churn. Then, here's the simple version. 1 to 3 core points. Not 10 slides, not a lecture, just a clear concept. Step 4. Invite a collaborative yes. Instead of forcing, you invite. What do you think? If this makes sense, I'd like to test it on a small scale first. Low risk, fast feedback. Notice what you did. You connected to their goals. You named a real problem. You positioned your idea as a solution. You reduced risk. You invited participation. That's how buy-in works. 3. Negotiating for better pay and opportunities. This is where many people freeze. They under-ask. They apologize. They make their value small. Let's fix that. Here's a simple raise conversation. Script you can adapt. Imagine you're talking to your manager. Step 1. Set the context. I'd like to talk about my role and my compensation. Say it calmly, without apology. You're not begging. You're discussing value. Step 2. Show value, not need. Most people talk about their needs. My rent is high. Life is getting expensive. You'll talk about your impact. Over the last period, I've listed 3 to 5 concrete contributions, helped close X deal, improved Y process, consistently delivered Z results. You're grounding the conversation in facts. Step 3. State your intention clearly. I want my compensation to reflect the level of value I'm bringing. Then, based on industry benchmarks, my performance, current scope, I believe X amount or range would be appropriate. How can we move toward that? You're not demanding, you're anchoring. Step 4. Invite problem solving. If they hesitate, you don't fold. You collaborate. What would need to happen from my side for this to be a yes for you? Is this a timing issue or a budget issue? If we can't adjust the salary right now, what other forms of recognition or growth can we agree on? You're behaving as a peer, not as a subordinate begging for favor. Work exercise. Pick one situation from your job, a meeting, an idea you want to propose, or a raise you want to ask for. Write a short script using framing, activation phrases, and the 4-step formulas you've learned. Then read it out loud. Adjust the words until they feel like yours. You're not memorizing lines. You're training a new default. Chapter 14. Influence in relationships. Influence in relationships is not about control. It's about steering the connection toward honesty, intimacy, shared growth, and mutual respect. This chapter will show you how to ask for what you need without drama, set boundaries without guilt, de-escalate conflict while staying strong. 1. Asking for what you need without sounding needy or aggressive. A lot of people swing between 2 extremes. They suppress their needs and become resentful, or they explode and demand neither works. You're going to use a calmer, stronger path. Here's a simple need expression formula. Observation, feeling, need, clear request. Example, conversation. I want more emotional presence from you. Let's shape that. Step 1. Observation. When we're together in the evening, I often see you scrolling on your phone while I'm talking. Neutral. No labels. No attack. Step 2. Feeling. When that happens, I feel ignored and unimportant. You own your feeling. You don't say, "You make me feel." You say, "I feel." Step 3. Need. I need to feel that when we talk, you're actually with me. You're not asking for perfection, you're expressing a human need. Step 4. Request. Here's what I'd like for at least 20 minutes in the evening. Let's both put our phones away and really talk. Are you willing to try that with me this week? This is honest, direct, and adult. You're not whining. You're not attacking. You're leading. 2. Setting boundaries without guilt. A boundary is not a punishment. It's a rule for how you allow others to interact with you. Weak communication lets everything slide. Strong communication says, "This is okay, this is not." Here's a simple boundary script. Step 1. Name the behavior. Step 2. State the impact. Step 3. Set the boundary. Step 4. Describe your action. Example. When you raise your voice and start insulting me, I feel disrespected and unsafe. I will not stay in a conversation where I'm being insulted. If this happens, I'll leave the room and we can talk later when we're both calm. You're not threatening, you're informing. You're saying, "This is how I treat myself. This is how I require others to treat me." People may test your boundary. That's normal. Your power is in following through calmly, not in yelling louder. 3. De-escalating conflict while staying strong. In conflict, most people choose attack, defend, or withdraw. You'll use a fourth option. Calm control hears a conflict. De-escalation dialogue you can adapt. Imagine someone is angry and blaming you. They say, "You never listen. You don't care about me. You're always thinking only about yourself." The usual responses: "That's not true." Defensive: "Look who's talking." Attack: silence and shut down. Withdraw. Your response with calm control. Step 1. Acknowledge emotion. I can see you're really upset. Step 2. Set a frame. I don't want us to hurt each other with words. I want us to actually understand each other. Step 3. Invite clarity. Tell me, what specifically did I do that hurt you? You're not submitting. You're steering. If they continue attacking, you have every right to be upset, but if we keep yelling, we won't solve anything. Let's slow down. Tell me one specific thing you want me to understand. If the conversation gets too heated, I'm not going to continue this conversation in this tone. Let's take 30 minutes apart and then try again. You're controlling the structure, not the person. That's real influence. Relationship exercise. Think about one recurring tension in your relationship, romantic, family, or close friendship. Write 2 versions of how you usually react. Then write 1 boundary script and 1 need expression script. Read them out loud. Choose one and use it the next time the pattern appears. It will feel new and uncomfortable. That's how you know you're changing something. Real. Chapter 15. Influence in high pressure. Situations. High pressure situations reveal your real level of skill. Anyone can sound wise. When they're calm, when nothing is at stake, when they have time to think. The question is, who are you when the pressure is on? In this chapter, we'll look at crisis communication, saying no under pressure, staying persuasive when emotions run high. 1. Crisis communication. A crisis could be a mistake at work, a blow-up in a relationship, a sudden problem that demands a decision. Most people in crisis panic, deny, hide, or overreact. You'll use a 3-step pattern: stabilize, clarify, direct. Step 1. Stabilize. You regulate the emotional climate. Phrases like, "Okay, we're not going to panic. Take a breath. We'll handle this step by step. Let's stay calm. We're going to get through this." Your voice becomes the anchor. Step 2. Clarify. You strip away noise and find the core. What exactly happened? What do we know for sure? What's the most urgent part? What can wait? Clarity reduces fear. Step 3. Direct. Now you move people into action. Here's what we're going to do next. You call the client, I'll fix the document. You take the kids home, I'll handle the conversation here. First we do this, then we handle the rest. You're not just calming, you're leading. 2. Saying no under pressure. Under pressure, people often say yes to things they don't want. They're afraid of conflict, rejection, judgment, but every fake yes is a small betrayal of yourself. Here's a strong no script you can use in different situations. Structure, acknowledge, clear, no, short reason, optional, alternative, optional. Examples, at work. I see why this feels urgent, but I'm going to say no to taking this on today. My plate is full and I don't want to promise something I can't deliver. If you want, we can look at my priorities together and decide what to drop. With friends. I love that you invited me, but I'm going to say no this time. I need rest. Let's plan something next weekend instead. With family. I understand this is important to you, but I'm not going to do that. It doesn't feel right for me. Notice, no over-explaining, no defensiveness, calm, clean, grounded. Every time you say a strong no, you raise the value of your yes. 3. Staying persuasive when emotions run high. High pressure equals high emotion. If you get pulled into the emotional storm, you lose influence. Here are 3 tools to stay persuasive. Tool 1. Speak 10% slower. When emotions rise, you automatically speed up. Counter that by deliberately slowing down. It sends a powerful signal. I'm not threatened. I'm thinking clearly. I'm in control of myself. Other people's nervous systems start to mirror yours. Tool 2. Use direction phrases. Instead of getting lost in arguments, you guide the interaction. Phrases like, let's not argue about the past. Here's what I want us to focus on. Let's come back to the decision we need to make. I don't want to fight. I want to find a solution that works for both of us. You're constantly steering back toward purpose. Tool 3. Repeat their key concern, then make your ask. In high emotion, people need to feel heard. You handle it like this. I hear that you're worried about their concern. You don't want negative outcome. That makes sense. Pause. Given that, here's what I suggest we do. You're aligning with their fear or desire, then guiding the next step. This keeps persuasion alive even when the air is hot. High pressure exercise. Think of one situation that scares you, a potential conflict, a difficult request, a crisis that might happen. Write a short script, one stabilizing phrase, one clarifying question, one directional statement, one strong, no or clear ask. Repeat it out loud until it feels natural. You're rehearsing not for fantasy, but for the next real test. Closing part 5. You've now seen how influence works at work, through leadership in meetings, clear pitches, and confident negotiation. In relationships, through honest needs, strong boundaries, and de-escalation. In high-pressure moments, through calm control, clean nose, and direction under fire. You're no longer just someone who wants things. You're someone who can move things. A person who speaks with clarity, chooses the right moment, presses the right emotional buttons, holds a voice people follow, and uses language to build, not destroy. In the final part of this audiobook, we'll bring everything together. Part 6, the master level. The right words, right moment, matrix, and the influence, blueprint. You'll learn how to see any situation through a simple mental model and know exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to say it to get the best possible outcome for you and for them. Part 6. The master level. Everything you've learned until now has prepared you for this final step. At the master level, influence becomes simple, intuitive, automatic, and almost invisible. Not because you're manipulating people, but because you finally understand how their minds actually work. In this final part, you're going to learn the right words, right moment. Matrix, a mental map that tells you exactly what kind of language to use based on emotional state, context, and resistance level. The influence, blueprint, a complete communication system you can use daily. Master scripts for the hardest situations in life. Moments when your voice must be strong, calm, and clear. This is the part of the audiobook you'll come back to again and again. Let's begin. Chapter 16. The right words, right moment. Matrix. Influence is not about using the same phrases everywhere. That's amateur communication. A master communicator adapts. You adapt your tone, your pacing, your framing, and even your vocabulary based on the state of the other person. Not who you wish they were. Who they are right now. To help you do this consistently, here is a simple but powerful mental model. The right words, right moment. Matrix. It has 4 quadrants. Each one describes a different emotional state of the person you're talking to, and each one requires a different communication strategy. Quadrant 1, calm and open. Use direct leadership language. This state is ideal. The person is calm, receptive, not defensive, not overwhelmed. Here you can use clear requests, direct statements, activation phrases, leadership tone. Example phrases. Here's what we're going to do. Let's agree on the next step. Here's what I need from you. Here's how we'll handle this. When someone is calm and open, you lead directly. Mistake to avoid: over-explaining or softening too much. Quadrant 2. Calm but resistant. Use framing plus meaning. Here the person is calm but not aligned with you. They might be skeptical, unconvinced, protective, cautious. Direct requests trigger resistance. So instead you use framing, meaning, identity language, opportunity framing. Example phrases. Here's why this matters. What would make this a yes for you? This is a chance to solve this before it becomes a bigger issue. Let's be the kind of people who choose the smarter path. Here you're not pushing, you're aligning. Mistake to avoid: debating facts. Resistance rarely dissolves through logic, but often dissolves through framing. Quadrant 3, emotional and defensive. Use validation plus calm control. This person is emotionally activated, angry, anxious, ashamed, overwhelmed. If you try to lead directly, they explode. If you argue, they escalate. If you ignore, they feel dismissed. Here, the right move is emotional validation, slow tone, grounding, pattern breaking. Example phrases. I can see you're upset. I'm here. Let's pause for a moment. I hear what you're saying. Let me make sure I get it. I don't want us to hurt each other. I want us to understand each other. Only after the emotional heat drops can you steer the direction again. Mistake to avoid: sounding cold or robotic. Validation doesn't mean admitting fault. It means acknowledging emotion. Quadrant 4. Emotional but receptive. Use stability plus gentle direction. This is a powerful moment. The person is emotional, but they're open to you. They need stability, reassurance, emotional anchoring, grounded presence. Use slow pace, warm tone, future framing. Example phrases. We're okay, one step at a time. You're not alone in this. We'll figure it out together. Here's the first step, just this one. I'm not going anywhere. Let's handle this. This is where influence becomes a deeply human mistake to avoid, giving advice too fast. People need to feel safe before they can act. How to use the matrix in real life. Before speaking in any important moment, ask yourself, which quadrant are they in? If they are calm and open, lead directly. Calm but resistant, reframe. Emotional and defensive, validate first. Emotional but receptive, anchor emotionally. Most communication fails, not because the words are wrong, but because the timing and strategy don't match the person's state. The Matrix fixes that. Chapter 17. The Influence Blueprint. Now it's time to give you a complete influence system that you can use in any interaction. This is the Influence Blueprint. It has 6 steps: presence, scan, frame, ask, lock in, review. Let's break down each step. 1. Presence. Your voice enters the room first. Before you say a word, breathe slower, drop your shoulders, ground your posture, lower your center of gravity. People feel your presence before they hear your message. Presence shifts the room. Presence creates authority. Presence is step 0. 2. Scan. What state are they in? Use the matrix. Are they calm and open, calm but resistant, emotional and defensive, emotional but receptive? This determines everything that comes next. A master communicator doesn't guess. They scan. 3. Frame. Shape the meaning before the message, before asking for anything. Set the frame. Examples. We both want this to work. Here's the goal of this conversation. This is about making things better, not blaming. I want us to talk like partners. Framing removes confusion and creates alignment. 4. Ask. Say the core sentence early. The amateur hides their request behind disclaimers, apologies, explanations, nervous build-up. The master asks early and cleanly. Examples. Here's what I need. Here's what I want us to do. I'd like your help with this. I'm asking for your commitment. 1 sentence. Simple, direct. 5. Lock in. Agreement is not real until it's clear. Most conversations fall apart because people walk away with assumptions. Lock in by summarizing, confirming, checking commitment. Examples. So we're agreed. You'll send the file tomorrow by noon. I want to be sure we're on the same page. You're okay with this plan. What might get in the way of this? Let's decide when we'll check back in. Locking in is not pressure. It's clarity. 6. Review. Every conversation teaches you something. After important conversations, ask, what worked? What didn't? Did I choose the right quadrant? Did I match my tone to their emotional state? Did I speak too much, too little, too fast? Did I lock in clearly? Mastery requires reflection. Reflection becomes intuition. Intuition becomes instinct. That's how influence becomes effortless. The master scripts. Below are ready-made scripts for the most difficult situations. Moments where your voice needs to be a weapon and a shelter at the same time. Master Script 1. When someone is emotional and defensive. I hear you. I can see this hit you hard. Let's slow down. I'm not against you. I want to understand you. Tell me the part that matters most right now. This neutralizes hostility. Master Script 2. When someone keeps resisting, I'm sensing hesitation. What would make this a yes for you? This pulls the real reason to the surface. Master Script 3. When guilt is used against you, I care about you, but guilt won't lead this decision. I want us to talk honestly, not emotionally corner each other. This protects your boundaries without attacking. Master Script 4. When you need instant direction. Okay, breathe. Here's what we're going to do. First, step 1, then we'll handle step 2. Everything else can wait. This creates order in chaos. Master Script 5. When someone is losing trust. I don't want this to drift further. Let's reset and start clean. Tell me exactly what broke your trust, and then I'll tell you exactly what I'm willing to do about it. This reopens connection. Master Script 6. When you need to say no with authority, I understand why you're asking, but I'm saying no. This doesn't align with what's right for me. Let's talk about alternatives. Calm, clear. Adult. Master Script 7. When you need a decision, we've explored the options, let's make a call. Which direction are you choosing? This prevents infinite loops. Chapter 18. Influence with yourself, inner dialogue, and self-leadership. Before you influence anyone else, you have to influence the one person you live with 24 hours a day, yourself. Your inner voice is the most powerful, most constant influence in your life. It's the narrator, the commentator, the judge, the coach, the saboteur, the leader, all in one. Most people try to speak better to others, negotiate better with others, lead better at work, while letting their inner voice talk to them in ways they would never accept from another human being. If your self-talk sounds like, you're not enough, you always mess things up. Who do you think you are? Don't even try, you'll fail. It doesn't matter how good your outer language is. Your inner language will quietly pull you back. This chapter is about self-influence, self-leadership, the way you use everything you've learned in this audiobook on the one person you can never escape. We'll cover how to recognize your current inner script, how to stop treating every thought as the truth, how to reframe your inner dialogue using the same tools you use with other people, how to create a calm, firm inner leader who can guide you under pressure. Because if you don't lead your inner voice will lead you. Let's begin. 1. Your inner voice is not you. It's a script most people believe. If I thought it, it must be true. It must be me. No. Your inner voice is not some pure truth. Your inner voice is old messages you heard as a child, plus fears, plus culture, plus past failures, plus random comments from people who barely knew you. It's a script, a pattern, a habit, not a verdict. If your inner voice says, you're going to screw this up, that doesn't mean, I am someone who always fails. It means, my brain has stored a fearful script and is playing it on repeat. The first step of self-leadership is separation, learning to say, that's a voice in my head, not my identity. Try this right now. Out loud say, I am not my thoughts. I notice my thoughts. I choose my response. Again, slower. I am not my thoughts. I notice my thoughts. I choose my response. This separation creates space. In that space, influence becomes possible. 2. Meet your inner characters. Inside you, there are different voices, not in a crazy way, in a human way. Here are a few you probably recognize. The inner critic. You're not enough. Other people are better. One mistake and it's over. The inner coward. Don't try. Don't risk. Stay small. At least it's safe here. The inner saboteur. Let's procrastinate, let's escape, let's blow this up before someone else does. The inner child. I just want comfort. I don't want pressure. I don't want responsibility. And then there is another voice, often very quiet, easy to miss. The inner leader. Here's what we're going to do, one step at a time. We don't run from fear, we walk through it. We're not perfect, but we're capable. Let's move. Self-leadership doesn't mean silencing every voice except the leader. It means listening like an adult and then choosing which voice will give the final word you can say internally. I hear the fear, I hear the critic, and I hear the leader. I choose to follow the leader. 3. Use the matrix on yourself. In Chapter 16, you learned the right words, right moment matrix for other people. Now we're going to use it on you. Before you talk to yourself, scan your own state. State 1. Calm and open. You're grounded, rested, clear. You can lead yourself with direct language examples of self-talk. Here's what we're going to do today. Let's make this simple. One main task, everything else after. Here's what I need from myself. 2 focused hours, no distractions. State 2. Calm but resistant. You're not upset, but you're avoiding. You know what you should do, but you're pushing it away. Here, you use framing plus meaning on yourself. Examples. Here's why this matters. This work builds the life I actually want. What would make this a yes for me? Less pressure? A smaller first step? If I do this, here's what I gain. If I don't, here's what I lose. State 3. Emotional and defensive. You're triggered, ashamed, angry, anxious, in a spiral. This is not the time to beat yourself up or push yourself harder. Here you use validation plus calm control. Examples. I'm really activated right now. Of course I feel this way. This is a lot. Let's pause. I'm not going to attack myself on top of this. First, we breathe. Then we decide. State 4. Emotional but receptive. You're emotional but soft, tender. Open to comfort. Open to guidance. Here you use stability plus gentle direction. Examples. We're okay. This feeling will pass. You're not alone. I'm here for you. One step at a time. First, we drink water. Then we take the next small action. The mistake most people make is trying to use the wrong language for the wrong state when you're emotional and defensive and your inner critic says, stop being weak, just do it. You don't get better. You get worse. When you're calm and open, but your inner coward says, let's not risk anything today, you shrink, even though you could have expanded. Self-mastery means matching your inner language to your current state, and then gently moving yourself to a more empowered one. 4. Reframing your inner dialogue. Everything you learned about framing others, you can use on yourself. Here are 4 powerful inner frame shifts. From accusation to observation inside your own head. Accusation self-talk. You're lazy. You always screw this up. You're a failure. Observation self-talk. In the last week, I avoided this task 3 times. That's a pattern. I want to understand why. Accusation attacks your identity. Observation describes your behavior and leaves room for change. B. From threat to choice. Threat self-talk. If you don't fix this right now, you're worthless. Everything will fall apart. Choice self-talk. You're free to choose. If you keep doing this, you stay where you are. If you change, it will be uncomfortable at first, but freeing later. Which pain do you choose? The pain of staying stuck or the pain of growth? Choice creates ownership. You stop being the victim of your own mind. C. From punishment to training. Punishment self-talk. You messed up again. You never learn. You deserve to feel bad. Training self-talk. I messed up. This is feedback. I'm in training. What can I adjust next time? Athletes don't scream, I'm trash after every mistake. They ask, what do I need to change in my technique? You're not on trial. You're in training. D, from I am to I'm learning. Identity self-talk. I am bad at confrontation. I am disorganized. I am not confident. Growth self-talk. I'm learning how to handle confrontation. I'm training myself to be more organized. I'm building real confidence. I am feels fixed. I'm learning feels moving. Influence requires movement. 5. Self-activation phrases. In part 3, you learned 10 activation phrases for moving other people into action. Now let's create activation phrases for yourself. You can literally say these out loud or inside your head in the same tone you would use with someone you respect and care about deeply. Here are a few powerful self-activation phrases. Phrase 1. Here's what we're going to do now. Use this whenever you feel scattered. It cuts through fog. Example. Okay, enough scrolling. Here's what we're going to do now. 30 minutes of focused work. Then you can rest. Phrase 2. Let's make this simple. Use when your brain is blowing things out of proportion. Example. This feels huge, but let's make this simple. 1 email, 1 call, 1 draft. That's it. Phrase 3. We're not negotiating with fear today. Fear loves endless negotiation. I'll do it later. Maybe next week. I'm not ready. You can answer, Fear, I hear you, but we're not negotiating with you today. We're moving. Phrase 4. 1 brave step, just 1, instead of, I have to change my whole life. You tell yourself, 1 brave step, just 1. Then we reassess. Phrase 5. I'm committed, I'm in. You use this with other people. Use it on yourself. I'm committed to this habit, I'm in. I'm committed to talking honestly, I'm in. I'm committed to leading my own life, I'm in. Your nervous system hears your commitment. You become someone you can trust. 6. Leading yourself under pressure. High-pressure moments don't just happen outside, they happen inside, before a presentation, before a hard conversation, before trying something new. Here is a simple self-leadership script you can use when you feel inner panic rising. Step 1. Stabilize yourself, out loud or in your head. Okay, we're not going to panic. Take 1 slow breath with me. Inhale slowly. Exhale slower. We'll handle this step by step. Step 2. Clarify what matters. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? What's the real danger here? What's the one thing I actually need to do? Then say, okay, the goal is simple. Say it in 1 line. Step 3. Direct yourself. Here's what we're going to do. First, small step 1. Then, step 2. Everything else we'll handle later. If your mind throws catastrophic images, respond, not helpful. Come back to the next step. Over and over, you are using all your external tools turned inward. Stabilize, clarify, direct. 7. Ending the war inside. For many people, the loudest battle in their life is not with family, partners, bosses, or strangers. It's with themselves. The inner critic versus the inner defender. The I should versus the I don't want to. The push harder versus the run away. Self-leadership does not mean destroying parts of you. It means creating a calm inner leader who can say to all those parts, I hear you. I get why you're scared. I get why you're angry. I get why you want comfort. But I'm leading here. We're going in this direction. I will not abandon you. I will not abuse you. But I will lead you. You become the parent. Your inner child never had, the coach your potential has been waiting for, the leader your life has needed. 8. Practice. A daily self-leadership ritual. Here is a simple daily practice to train inner influence. It takes 2 to 3 minutes. Step 1. Morning check-in. Ask yourself, how am I feeling mentally and emotionally right now? Name it in one sentence. I feel anxious and rushed. I feel heavy and unmotivated. I feel clear and calm. Simply naming it reduces its power. Step 2. Choose your inner tone for the day. Ask, what tone do I want my inner voice to have today? Examples: calm and firm, warm and encouraging, focused and direct. Then say, today I speak to myself in a calm and firm voice. Step 3. One self-activation phrase. Pick one self-activation phrase for the day. For example, here's what we're going to do now. Or, one brave step, just one. Or, we're not negotiating with fear today. Repeat it out loud. This is my phrase today. One brave step, just one. Step 4. Night review. At the end of the day, ask, how did I talk to myself today? Where did I lead myself well? Where did I abandon myself? No self-punishment, just information. Then say, tomorrow I'll lead myself one level better. That's how you grow. One inner conversation at a time. Closing. Chapter 18. Self-leadership is the foundation of all other influence. If your inner voice is chaotic, cruel, unstable, or constantly afraid, you will sabotage your external power. But when your inner voice becomes calm, clear, firm, and compassionate, everything you've learned in this audiobook multiplies. You've learned how to scan your own state with the same matrix you use on others. Reframe your inner dialogue from accusation to observation, from threat to choice, from punishment to training. Use self-activation. Phrases to move yourself into motion, stabilize, clarify, and direct yourself in high-pressure moments. Become the inner leader your life has been waiting for. From now on, don't just ask, how do I talk to them? Ask, how do I talk to myself? Because the person who hears your voice the most is you. If your words don't land inside you, your voice won't lead outside you. Influence begins the moment you decide to speak to yourself with the same respect, clarity, and leadership you want to offer to the world. You are not just a communicator, you are your own leader. Lead well. Chapter 19. Real influence. Scenarios. Influence becomes real when you apply it in real-world conversations. Not in theory, not in perfect situations, but in the messy, emotional, unpredictable moments where most people lose their voice. In this chapter, you'll see 10 real scenarios. For each one, you'll hear the wrong approach, the effective approach, and the exact phrases that work in real-world conversations. These are not scripts to memorize. They are blueprints. Once you understand the structure behind them, you'll be able to handle almost any conversation with clarity, calm, and power. Let's begin. Scenario 1. When someone dismisses your idea, most people panic when someone cuts them off or reacts with, "No, that won't work." They either push harder or back down completely. Neither works. The wrong approach. Why are you not listening? This idea makes sense. Just hear me out. This creates resistance. You sound defensive, emotional, and uncertain. The effective approach. Use calm confidence plus framing plus direction. You don't fight their reaction. You reframe the conversation and show the structure of your idea. The exact phrases. My idea isn't perfect, but it does solve a real problem. Give me 60 seconds. I'll walk you through the core logic. And then you tell me what's missing. There are 3 things this idea gives us. clarity, speed, and lower risk. If any part feels off, we can adjust it together. This tone creates collaboration, not conflict. Scenario 2. When someone keeps interrupting you, interruptions break your rhythm and pull you into frustration. The wrong approach. Can you stop interrupting me for a second? This sounds irritated. You lose presence and status. The effective approach. Use stability plus structure. The exact phrases. I want to hear your point. But let me finish this thought because it connects directly to what you're saying. 30 more seconds, then I'm all yours. Calm, clear. Adult. People stop interrupting when your tone signals leadership. Scenario 3. When someone gives you vague answers, vagueness kills progress. The wrong approach. So, is that a yes or a no? This sounds needy and pressured. The effective approach. Use clarity plus gentle direction. The exact phrases. Let's make this simple. What do you want to do here? A or B? If neither works, tell me what would make this a yes for you. You remove fog. You open the door to the real reason behind their hesitation. Scenario 4. When a conversation gets emotional, heat rises, logic disappears. This is where amateurs collapse. The wrong approach. Calm down, you're overreacting. This makes everything worse. The effective approach. Use validation plus calm control. The exact phrases. I can see this hit you hard, and I want to understand you. Let's slow this down. Tell me the part that matters most right now. This lowers the emotional flame so real communication can begin again. Scenario 5. When someone is angry at you, their anger overwhelms you, and you react emotionally. The wrong approach. That's not what happened. You're twisting things. They feel unheard. The conflict grows. The effective approach. Use meta. Language plus structure. The exact phrases. I hear that you're upset before we keep going. Tell me one specific thing you want me to understand. This conversation is looping. Let's tackle one clear issue first. You take back control without fighting. Scenario 6. When someone is passive or disengaged, they nod, but they never follow through. The wrong approach. Can you please just take this seriously? This sounds emotional and powerless. The effective approach. Use meaning plus ownership. The exact phrases. Here's why this matters. If we handle this now, we avoid bigger problems later. Let's agree on the next step. What can you commit to today? This turns passivity into action. Scenario 7. When someone pushes your boundaries. Boundaries are a test. If you fail once, they will test you again. The wrong approach. Okay, fine, just this once. You train them to ignore your needs. The effective approach. Use calm authority. The exact phrases. I understand why you're asking, but my answer is no. This doesn't work for me. If you want, we can look at alternatives. You stay respectful. You stay firm. They learn your limits. Scenario 8. When you need to ask for something important, most people hesitate, over-explain, apologize, or talk for too long. The wrong approach. I'm sorry, but could you maybe possibly do this for me? Instant status drop. The effective approach. Use one clean sentence. The exact phrases. Here's what I need from you. I want to make sure we're aligned. Can you do that? Clear, confident, adult. Scenario 9. When someone disagrees with your solution. Disagreement is not the problem. Unmanaged disagreement is. The wrong approach. You're wrong. My approach is better. Instant battle. The effective approach. Use collaborative framing. The exact phrases. Let's compare both approaches for a moment. Tell me what you see as the strongest part of your version, and I'll tell you the strongest part of mine. Now let's build the version that combines the best of both. You transform disagreement into co-creation. Scenario 10. When you need someone to act immediately, most people beg or pressure, both fail. The wrong approach. Please just do it right now, it's really important. This sounds chaotic. The effective approach. Use decisive, grounded direction. The exact phrases. Here's what we're going to do. First, you handle X, then I'll take care of Y. Everything else can wait. Let's move. Short, calm, certain. This is what real influence looks like in action. Closing chapter 19. These 10 scenarios are your real-world dojo. Practice them. Use them. Repeat them. Over time, these phrases become automatic. Your tone changes, your timing sharpens, your presence deepens, and people respond to you in a completely different way. This is influence in motion. This is communication at the master level. When the moment comes, you won't rise to the occasion, you'll rise to your training. Closing part 6. Integration. Everything in this audiobook can be reduced to one final truth. Influence equals the right words, at the right moment, delivered with the right presence. You now understand how humans respond to tone, clarity, and emotional safety, how to read emotional states and adjust your strategy, how to use framing to dissolve resistance, how to make clean, powerful, adult requests, how to lead conversations instead of surviving them, how to close cycles with clear agreements, how to regulate emotions, your own and others, how to speak with a voice people follow, how to move people ethically and effectively. Influence is not magic. It's a craft, a skill, a practice, and now it's yours. If you use even 10% of what you learned in this audiobook, your relationships, your work, your confidence, and the way the world responds to your voice will change dramatically. Not someday, not eventually, immediately. The next time you open your mouth. Conclusion. Final message. Influence is not manipulation. Influence is clarity, timing, and intention. It's not about tricks. It's not about control. It's not about forcing people to obey. Influence is about speaking in a way that is honest, calm, clean, and powerful, so that the right people recognize your value and respond to your voice. Throughout this audiobook, you learn something essential. Words are not just words. They shape how people feel, how they see you, and how they respond to you. You learn that timing decides everything. The same sentence in the wrong moment falls flat. In the right moment, it changes everything. You learned that emotional triggers live inside people already. You don't install motivation. You connect your message to what they want, fear, and value. You learned how to build a voice people follow, a voice that feels grounded, certain, and safe. You learned the language of leadership, how to guide conversations, how to frame meaning, how to unlock alignment instead of resistance. You learned phrases that activate action, formulas for yes, and structures people naturally follow. You learned how to influence at work, in relationships, and in high-pressure moments where emotions run hot and clarity is rare. And then, in the master level, you learned something deeper. Influence is not only what you do out there. Real influence begins inside you, your inner dialogue, your self-talk, your internal leadership. Because if your inner voice is chaotic, fearful, apologetic, self-attacking, your outer communication will always collapse. But when your inner voice is calm, direct, compassionate, and clear, your outer influence becomes unstoppable. This was the purpose of Chapter 18, to show you that the first person you must learn to influence is yourself. Before you direct others, you must direct your focus. Before you bring calm to others, you must bring calm to yourself. Before your voice shifts a room, it must shift your own nervous system. Every tool in this audiobook, the matrix, the blueprint, the master scripts, works outward only if it works inward first. So the final question is not, do you know the techniques? Knowledge is nothing without practice. The question is, will you use them? On yourself first, and then on the world, will you pause for one breath before reacting? Will you choose one stronger phrase instead of your old apologetic patterns? Will you set one clean boundary instead of swallowing resentment? Will you speak one direct sentence where you used to circle and hesitate? Because lasting change doesn't start with a perfect speech. It starts with one better sentence said in one better moment with one better presence. From now on, every conversation you have is practice, including the conversations you have with yourself. Every. Yes, no, not now. Here's what I need. Here's what we're going to do is an opportunity to stand stronger, to speak clearer, to stay grounded, and to treat your voice like the tool it truly is. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to be louder, funnier, smarter, or more dramatic. You only need to align your words, your moment, your presence, and your internal leadership. Influence is no longer their skill. It's not just for natural leaders or charismatic people or extroverts. It's your craft, now, your practice, your superpower. The world has enough noise, enough manipulation, enough pressure, enough people who speak without thinking. What the world needs, and what you are now equipped to be, is someone who speaks with calm authority, clean intention, and real respect. Someone whose words lift, not crush. Someone whose presence steadies, not disturbs. Someone whose voice creates clarity in a world full of confusion. And the next time you open your mouth, remember this: you can get almost anything you want if you use the right words, in the right moment, with the right presence, starting with the way you speak to yourself. Your voice is no longer an accident. Your voice is your power. Use it well.